This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the greater Long Beach area. We are joined today by Eloy Oakley. He is the new Chancellor of the California Community Colleges. A bit of a homecoming. He had been the superintendent of the Long Beach City College. And so I congratulate you tremendously on this honor, your new position overseeing 113 community colleges, 2.1 million students, largest system in the nation. What were you thinking, sir?
Well, I had a momentary lapse in judgment, but no, seriously, California community colleges are a great system. I'm a product of the system, and what better way to give back than to serve as the chancellor of the system.
I want to talk about some of the goals that you've set out, and I'm going to combine a couple and talk about maybe the underprepared, which often links into the achievement gap that is often seen among students of color or socioeconomically disadvantaged. Talk us through that and what you hope to do to remedy that.
Well, I mean, this is a big issue. It's not just an issue for California.
Oh, no.
It's a national issue. And there are so many things that go into this problem. But primarily what we're going to focus on is reinforcing that link between K-12 and community colleges and really digging down into the K-12 systems, working with them, supporting teachers in the K-12 system, and helping them get students better prepared to come to community college.
Now, you have experience with this because when you were at Long Beach City implemented a pioneering program known as Long Beach Promise, which was and still is, a seamless move from LBUSD to LBCC to Cal State Long Beach. And so I would presume that a lot of those underprepared students weren't underprepared.
Right. No, certainly, there's been a lot of great work done in the K-12 system, and it took us a while in higher education to recognize that. A lot has to do with the way that we place students when they come out of high school, how we recognize the work that they've done in high school rather than giving them a standardized test. So a lot can be done to better place students, but we also need to do a lot to make sure that we're communicating clearly to K-12 students, making sure they understand what our expectations are, and helping them be prepared.
Los Angeles recently adopted a promise. San Diego has a promise. I think is it 23 of the 113 have promises. San Luis Obispo. But there's a state, Tennessee, that has a statewide promise. And I'm wondering if we might see a California promise, which, by the way, there are permutations, but it's a year of community college tuition without a charge.
And that's what we have in Long Beach. Tennessee has 2 years. Governor Cuomo in New York just launched the New York
Andrew
Promise.
Cuomo,
Andrew Cuomo, sorry.
His dad's Mario. Exactly.
But I certainly think that there's an opportunity in California. I mean, we already have some of the lowest fees in the nation.
Well, the lowest.
Yes,
the lowest.
Right. But the cost of going to college is still high, particularly in urban areas. So there's a lot we can do to lower that cost and really create that promise environment throughout the whole state.
I want to talk about the past federal administration and the current. President Obama had talked about a free community college system. President Trump has not talked about that, but he has done something that's interesting. He's focused on manufacturing jobs, skilled jobs. Who trains those? Community college.
Exactly.
And so I'm wondering, is there a way to work with the Trump administration to try to really reinvigorate community colleges, because it plays right into his message?
No, I think that's exactly correct. Certainly if the rhetoric of the campaign comes to fruition in his administration, then connecting folks throughout the country to good paying jobs really is the job of community colleges. And I'm hopeful that the new president sees us as that resource. We're ready to do it, and we are willing to do it. So I think it's a great opportunity for community colleges. We are the closest to individuals throughout our communities, and getting them skilled for those jobs is our #1 priority.
The Trump administration has also said during the campaign and the run-up to the inauguration that they are interested in revoking what's known as DACA, deferred action. And what is deferred action? Program set forth by President Obama that allowed those that were brought to this country as children to apply for deferred action, meaning they'd be protected from deportation And the program has been wildly successful. 700 and I think 50,000, 40,000 have applied for DACA. There are about 215,000 in California. 61,000 community college students have applied for DACA. So they are going to school, they have jobs, and I can tell you, and I'm sure you can tell me, they're panicked.
There is a lot of concern. There's a lot of, we worked very hard under the Obama administration to get these individuals to come out of the shadows and to apply for this DACA status so that they can go to our schools, receive in-state tuition, really participate as members of the community in our colleges.
But most importantly, arguably, get jobs.
Right.
Because without documentation, you can't get a job. But with DACA, you can get a job.
Right.
And so if all of a sudden DACA is revoked, these individuals, we can put the deportation question aside for a second.
Right.
They can't get a job and may not be able to pay, even if it's the lowest rate in the nation. And so what is the community college system doing? I mean, 61,000 students, that's a real number.
Right. We have joined forces with the University of California, with the California State University system, and made it clear to all of our students that we will protect their right to continue to go to our schools and that they should feel safe and secure when they're on our campuses. We will not cooperate with federal authorities in terms of giving them access to personal data. We will not disclose their information.
But the challenge is the federal government has the data. If you apply for DACA, you gave all your personal data. Now, under the Obama administration, there was a promise that this information would not be used for deportation, but it's not an enforceable promise.
Right.
And so we'll put that aside. So you're essentially setting forth, I'll use the term loosely, sanctuary for these students. Okay, good. But then what happens? The federal government can say, you want to set up a sanctuary system, that's fine, we're just going to pull your federal funds.
Right.
President Johnson did that during the desegregation years. You don't want to desegregate, we'll pull your funds.
No, that's right. Certainly the administration has many options, but we're going to work with the leadership in California. We're going to work with the new Attorney General, Javier Becerra.
Right.
We're going to work with the governor and the leadership in the legislature, and really it's up to them to defend Californians, and we're going to work with them to ensure that we follow along and do everything we can to defend the rights of Californians in this country, whether documented or undocumented.
But that's the question. Are they Californians?
In
are
California's
they Americans?
view, they're Californians.
It's complicated.
Yes,
I mean, we are a union of 50 states.
That's right.
But immigration, I mean, it's a federal question.
Yes.
And so I hear you, Attorney General Becerra, I'm sure will be fighting. Eric Holder, former U.S. Attorney General, has been brought in. But, you know, query, should the California community college system, should the state of California be expending funds to protect non-citizens?
Well, I mean, that is a question. But in the eyes...
And can they? Legally?
Well, that certainly is up to the Attorney General and to
above our pay
advice
grade
of Eric Holder. But also remember that we have another asset in California, and that is the president of the University of California, Janet Napolitano, who actually was involved in writing the language for DACA.
So she had been Homeland Security
Secretary. Who better to defend the policy that she helped write?
Right. Okay, it's an issue that I do want to continue to discuss because, like we said, 61,000 students in your system are impacted by deferred action. His name is Eloy Oakley. He's the new Chancellor of the California Community College System. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're coming to you from Long Beach on Local Edition.